Cool. We got it right this time too. Welcome back to Stormwatch, or welcome to Stormwatch if this is your first time. This is a weekly little thing we do to talk about all of the bad things that happened last week, and probably some of the good ones if there was any good ones, and also maybe do some prognostication, which I'm going to probably get yelled at for in a minute for the coming week. And with me today are some of my fine Gray Noise companions. Everyone that has been doing this before knows Kimber and Glenn. Say hello, folks.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
And we will talk more extensively with everyone, but we have a new person joining us today. Donna, would you like to introduce yourself to the Stormwatch audience?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Bob, first off, for inviting me to your amazing, awesome show. Hi, my name is Donna, and I am the Director of Product Design at Gray Noise, and my role and responsibility is to see our overall user experience end to end in our amazing, fabulous product.
And Donna's also writing a book about design too, so hopefully it'll be out next year sometime.
Fingers crossed. Can't promise.
Fingers crossed. So I think before we even dive into like the dateline and stuff of everything, does anyone have anything to say to me about last week?
Is it the fact that you lost something?
Yeah, like maybe like actually it turns out though, so I am good. I do what actually I should always mention we also have our amazing Overwatch Ashley, who controls all this stuff and makes everything look pretty. And per Ashley's instructions, yes, I'm now blaming Ashley. I turn off all notifications. If I had not, I would have known while we were doing our broadcast, CISA actually released a Kev thing last Monday, so I would not have failed if I weren't being a good boy and actually listening to what I'm supposed to do. However, I failed miserably, and for folks that are wondering what that is, we all did, and we're going to do it again. We're doing it again. We're going to keep doing it until I don't screw up. And we'll just keep doing it. We made a little thing of like how many Kev releases will there be this week, and I was all like, it's zero. It's zero. What an idiot! I'm an idiot. I'm a moron.
So I guess to shave your head now, right? Is that the deal?
It's about time. It is about time for that to happen again.
Like we're going skin though. We're not doing we're going skin.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I actually used to do the bald thing. I look pretty good, I think. Bald. Well, I mean,
you had a pretty solid like bandana and kerchief kind of thing.
I do have that too. I got that too. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the Stormwatch. That's what people are actually here for. Dateline 2023-07-28. So I think you've already seen it running in the bottom, but just in case you haven't, we are moving this to Tuesdays. Mondays are it's a chaotic day trying to get stuff done. Really appreciate Donna coming on last minute, like, because Donna is always engaged with something, and like taking time for this is incredible. So I appreciate that. So we're gonna do this on Tuesdays. Hopefully it doesn't mess anybody up, and we'll announce it the way we do, and just keep looking and watching and subscribing, because this time slip into there is important to catch.
Is that the time warp?
That might be the time warp. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh.
You just got it. It's cool.
I just heard it in my head.
The caffeine is kicking in. This is good.
I saw that, and immediately the song came to my head. I'm like, yes, that's a great movie.
And I was telling Glenn before, I actually got a copy of the mugshot. It's a great one too. And I would encourage all other folks that have Gray Noise mugs to also post a picture of their mugshot in maybe compromising positions or behind glass and a back with like measure lines or whatever.
Photoshop the mugshot.
Like just Photoshop it wherever you think it might fit, and drop that on Twitter. I am no longer. Sorry, is it X? What is it? Is it still X? Have they actually finally called it the Nazi site?
Not yet. I think it's sticking with X.
Okay. So post it to X. Post it to Mastodon, post it to Blue Sky, post it on Matrix. I don't know, because post them. We'd love to see it.
Wherever you're shit posting, I think this will be perfect content for it.
Yeah. This is the best mugshot. Like this is I don't care what anyone thinks about whatever happened recently. This is literally the best mugshot. So anyway, so jokes aside, I want to hear about this. I was jealous all weekend seeing images of these things and watching not tweets. I'm on Mastodon, so watching a bunch of stuff on Mastodon, maybe some Blue Sky. Could whoever wants to start, maybe Donna, we had you on to talk about this specifically, so maybe Donna, could you explain what BlueCon is, why you were there, why you let Glenn show up there, and what y'all were doing. And I'm gonna get away from this so let you guys have some fun.
Yeah, so it was just a wonderful opportunity to attend Blue Team Con. So Blue Team Con, for those who do not know, it's a conference created for cybersecurity defenders, which what I love is that within their mission statement, it's inclusive of anyone interested in safeguarding organizations. I was deeply interested in just learning directly from the cybersecurity community. As I just mentioned, since I'm the director of product design, I oversee, and what's important to me is the overall user experience and learning directly from this community. And so to me, it was very important to just reach out and talk to people and learn from their perspective about their thoughts on Grey Noise, what it is that they love or don't love, and then capture this feedback and ensure that we're providing and improving our overall experience for them, because we love our community and the folks that essentially use Grey Noise. And I also had the wonderful opportunity to meet Leslie Carhart, amazing, fabulous, wonderful woman. I was just starstruck, wonderful speaker, and I was just really enamored by learning about her background and just how passionate she is about the community. I got to meet some fabulous folks also during the conference, and Glenn was also an amazing partner to go around and and just go up towards people, because initially I didn't have the cardboard that said, "Can you please talk to me if you use Grey Noise?"
Well, I'm gonna interrupt. Initially,
All right.
Donna was just like swooping in on people and started quizzing them.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
maybe we need a sign so they can see you coming and why you're like coming in like a
Like a
hawk
hawk.
about to like snap their prey. So in the hackerest of ways, just went to the registration booth, got a marker, got some cardboard off a box, and made that beautiful sign. And the sign was perfect, and I think it worked, because then
Yeah.
then people were like much more open to like, you know, knowing what you were
Right.
coming in for.
That also feels very like in the spirit of
On brand. Yeah, exactly.
a hacker conference. Like,
Yeah.
you show up a little improvisational, you know, you work with what you've got.
Yeah.
And saving some money for Ashley's marketing budget too.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it also, you know, it's to your guys' point, it definitely has a cool hacker theme to it. And I could tell people were deeply appreciative of it, because Glenn, we could tell we were looking at people and they were getting smiles. People were laughing and stuff. And I was happy, you know, by the entertainment of it all. And also the fact that it just seemed much more friendlier. Like, people were definitely coming up to us and like, hey, you know, like, what is Grey Noise? So it did intrigue and pique their curiosity, which is great. So overall, a wonderful, awesome experience.
Very cool.
Are
Glenn?
you going to go to another one, Donna?
I hope so. Because I did learn a lot. People were also so happy and helpful of providing me that feedback, and deeply appreciative of it. So yeah, I would love to attend any future cons.
This was my first time to go to Blue Team Con, and I was super impressed with everything, like well organized, good variety of talks, super friendly, and unrelated to the con, but there was also a lot of dogs at the hotel, so that was cool.
Oh wow.
So I don't know what that's about or if that's a normal thing, but it just made it better. And yeah, I would absolutely recommend this con to other folks in the area or not. But well done, like a really well done.
I think this is like the third year they've done it. They started in 2021, and I think it's the second year of in person.
Yeah, it's really well done. Yeah. Great job to everyone involved there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
So is it always in Chicago? I'm not sure if it's always in Chicago.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so too.
Cool. That this might give me an excuse to come to Chicago next year, Donna.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Yes, the more the merrier. I was just telling Glenn this. I'm like, oh man, it'll be great if the rest of y'all have the opportunity to come and visit. That'll be wonderful.
Very cool. So Glenn asked me to drop this in here to talk about today, and given that it's going to be the second round of report season, there's really two rounds of report season in cyber. One's like the early part, right around like the RSA time, and one's right after the Black Hattie time as well. So this is one that's Sophos put out, and I am going to let Glenn wax poetic about what the findings are.
Yeah, so I'm extremely well, happy is a strong word. I'm happy with the report. Like the data it's giving us is not great news, but I'm happy with the proper amount of SAS in the report. So bonus points for that, and some creative takeaways, as you can see here. Like this is from the report, but the overall takeaway, like this is a really good review and reminder and data set that organizations can use to, start like, okay, I'm going to talk about the report and then I'll circle back to that thought. But essentially, like some of the big takeaways are ransomware dwell time is down from 9 days last year to 5 days this year. So they broke it into kind of like two categories. So like compromises that are with the intent, of conducting ransomware activities and the intent of not conducting ransomware activities. And so for the ransomware intent, the dwell time, like I said, is down from 9 days last year to 5 days this year. So that's a work week. That's not a lot of time.
But what does that mean for folks?
Dwell time is the amount of time that an attacker is in your system, whatever that means, your network, your server, your, somewhere where they shouldn't be, before they get noticed. So, basically the average, so that says the average time for between attacker gets ingress or gets into your environment to pushes the button or the code to start, encrypting or doing ransomware activities is about 5 days. And, that's interesting in the fact, like 5 days is a long time, right? Like it's not a long time whenever organizations are, having to deal with so many alerts and so many things in their day to day, but it's not like instant. So there is an opportunity based on, your controls to identify this before it actually kicks off, because the best worst thing about ransomware is it's quite noisy. Like its intent is to be found. So, it's never unknown for forever and ever. But then the other category that they broke it into is like compromises with not ransomware intent. And that dwell time has actually gone up from 11 days to 13, but that's not a big change. So, basically 1 work week for if the actor has intent for conducting ransomware activities, 3 work weeks for not ransomware intent. So obviously ransomware is still around, still kicking, still profitable, still doing its thing, still impacting insurance premiums for everyone. And it also kind of shows, I say this like jokingly kind of, but when you have a plan and a goal, then you're going to execute better. So the attackers that are going in knowing that they're going to do ransomware, like, are executing faster than the attackers that go in and compromise, and then they're like, okay, now what, right? So it's always good to have goals, but the takeaway, multi-factor authentication is your mature, sensible friend. Perfect phrasing. That goes a long way. RDP is still a high vector for ransomware activities. So many servers are still, 3389 is exposed. They don't have 2-factor. They don't keep them up to date. Like all of the things that are basic hygiene are still not being done globally. And those are still the things that are screwing companies the most in getting compromised. So really good report. There's a lot of other takeaways in there, like the times that activities happen. So most of the for ransomware, not surprisingly, happens on the weekends or after hours, because they want to kick the attackers want to kick that off and let it get as far as possible before people can start responding. And of course, holidays, weekends, nights, depending on how your organization is structured, gives them a little bit more time to get a better foothold. So Not surprising data, but good data that you can use. We're going into Q3 here very shortly. Organizations start, if they're on a fiscal year for 24, a calendar fiscal year, they're going to start planning their budgets for next year. I think this is a really good report to align with your 24 like budget priorities and organizational like security control priorities, because it feels right. The data's there. It's just a good report.
I love that dunk line of the dwell time is sinking faster than the RMS Titanic.
Yes.
But also,
yeah, the SAS is just, it's not boring. That's another great quality. Like, it's not a boring report.
Yeah.
Like,
a question for the gang, though. Would you rather have, like, we're playing a game of Would You Rather right now. Would you rather have dwell time of less than 24 hours or dwell time of 30 days?
Oh.
I know. It's a hard question. I think I'd choose the 30-day dwell time.
I feel like I'd choose the 24, but
yeah, I'm going to say I agree with Glenn. Look what you made me do, Kendall. Look what you made me do. Oh my God.
There's no right answer. Can we choose no dwell time?
I'm gonna go with Kimber because I trust her judgment.
No.
I think I would just want the dream that I'll definitely find them within that 30 days somewhere. But still, it's like absolutely terrifying to think of somebody being on your system for such a long time.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that, because like they still do like they don't just dwell. I mean, they do things during that time. So
yeah, dwell. Yeah.
So that's a little scary. I did not dig any deeper, and I doubt they did it because it's kind of because I'm about to say it and I feel lousy saying it. But so dwell time is actually about as fast as billionaire submarines that go after the RMS Titanic, right? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, and just to give them some further props to what Glenn said, and I gotta just toss out a warning to my peeps, my friends, my former coworkers at the Verizon DBIR. I gotta say the wordsmithing game in this report's pretty darn good. I agreed. Like Glenn was spot on with that. Like it was actually really fun to read it, as well as being informed and depressed at the end of it and needing to drink heavily. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to the next one. So I had to bring this up because it's a big thing when a major nation state completely destroys and hacks with a massive cyber attack another nation state. And in this case, Russia hacking Poland's train rail network. It's just terrible.
No, not a hack. Absolutely not a cyber attack. This is a bad headline. This is an illegal headline. Well, not illegal, just this is a very clickbaity title, because the reality is so much more boring and simple, right? Yeah. You send 3 tones on a frequency, stops trains, emergency stops.
Is this amazing. Captain Crunch attack for trains?
Right? Oh my God, that sounded so familiar. The 80s, it happened in the 80s, right? The Captain Crunch telephone.
Yeah, is this train freaking?
This is train freaking, more or less. Radio frequency. There is no hacks, just radios.
And what I need to say here, because I know at least 3 of us are jaded. I don't think Donna is jaded yet, at least on the cyber side of things. None of us, I don't think even Donna, is actually surprised that you could do this. Right. Like that a modern, and Poland's got a fairly modern rail system.
I hope.
Modern rail system is still susceptible to you going around with like a beepy thingy and like just pressing a button and having tones go and having things shut down. This is just so sad. This is just
$30. $30 can stop how many billions of dollars worth of trains? It's cool.
Wow.
I mean, it's probably a very reliable system to stop trains, at least. Way more reliable than a computer.
So train hacking village at DEF CON?
Train
network hacking village at
we've got plane village. Why not train village?
Oh my God, like a train.
And we have car bills. We have plane, trains, automobiles.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cute. Like a trade set, right? And see how we can hack it.
Yeah.
As long as it explodes in the end.
Dude, I would be so into this. I wonder if you have to have your ham radio license to do this attack.
legally. I mean, it's wait, what? Hold.
Oh,
License
Bob?
to attack, license to have a illegal not cyber attack. Okay, I don't know.
Anyway,
Our lawyers
Yeah.
might be in touch shortly.
Yeah, the lawyers might, I don't know. This is just like, and so for everybody, if there are any other vendors watching us right now, listening to us right now, and you scare people with AI, sophisticated, advanced cyber, blah blah blah. No. Like, we're still at the stage where there's like tons of this everywhere. So like, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and maybe
physical
let's figure out how to.
security.
Yeah, this is terrifying. I also, speaking of terrifying, I collected these because I don't like it when a business goes out of business due to a cyber attack, ransom. This is a legit cyber attack, a ransomware attack. They're usually ransomware attacks these cause them to go out. Two cloud providers, Danish cloud providers, Cloud Nordic and A0, I think, is the other one. I think they were related to each other too, but they sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. They just said, screw it, we're done. I think they're gonna be farmers. That's kind of what I want to be anyway. So like, I support them in that. But this is terrifying, that if you don't take care of things, and even if you do, you're still susceptible to O-days and things. You might not have a business tomorrow. And this is one reason why I get so worried about healthcare attacks, because the healthcare IT is about, and like, these were cloud folks, so they should have been able to do a bunch of things better. So if they couldn't do it, imagine what happens to like other critical infrastructure and healthcare and things like that. But wow, this is just terrible. And I'll leave it open for a comment, but I don't know if anyone has any more comments on this, and I just want people aware of it.
Yeah, I think a couple, like, there was a couple of companies that essentially have most likely gone out of business from this in the last week, and it is shocking to hear, of a cloud company that just, because for the last 5-10 years, everyone's just outsourcing the cloud because now it's someone else's problem, and then something like this happens. I know one of the companies, I can't remember which one, because like I said, there was two, but one was in the middle of like a migration, or just finished a migration or something, so there were some openings in the network that weren't typically there, and that allowed the attack to become as bad as it was. And like, the first thing that came to mind is, like, we all hate security questionnaires, and they're a time sink, but there is value in there. And like, the first thing that came to mind was like, this almost feels like this is why we have those questionnaires for certain things about like how you do cold backups, or how you protect your backups, or whatever, because it did last long enough to propagate into their backup. So it's literally just gone. And I can't imagine the feeling that you would have having to tell your customers that it's just all gone.
Yeah, not great. So just be careful out there.
Yeah.
And speaking of being careful out there, Con Briefing, they have a decent tracker. They're pulling data from everywhere. They're watching all of the key folks, which some of them we had on already before here. And so this is the current tally. I just because Donna's here, I will note the lack of a comma in the 1,000. I hate that. I have serious OCD about that. Every single person, including
Wow.
Ashley,
I am shocked, because you are on point on those. You always
no, I just screen capped this. Like, they don't have. I could have edited the HTML, put the comma in, then screen capped it, but I'd rather just show their disregard for like actually doing things that humans do well.
Or maybe they were just so optimistic that it wouldn't break 4 digits.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, the format specifiers in JavaScript are really pain too. So maybe it was just that. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Just move it's still a thing. We've been tracking it forever, since it's been out there. It's hurt a lot of folks. Please don't let it hurt you. With school coming on back everywhere, I think we're going to see this number really kick up pretty bad.
Did they say how they're collating that list?
They are literally they are following like all the folks that I mentioned before that are putting these trackers out there. They are scavenging news reports. Like, they are hand collecting all of these things, and they're just putting it from reports. Like, no, there are no official breach reporting agencies for this anywhere, unless you're healthcare, and even then, like, that's just in the U.S. generally. So they're doing their best to just track it from all the individual sources out there. And Twitter/X broke a lot of this ability to collect this information too. So it's really haphazard, and this is probably a low ball. This probably the damage is probably higher than this as well. So it's not great. We have to get so far. Depressing show, like also far. So we got to talk about something not depressing. Kimber, you wrote a blog and you gave data away this week. You need to tell everybody about it, and I am going to put you back on full. Need to put you back on full screen.
So we posted a blog this week, or last week rather, about our CTF recap, the Capture the Flag tournament. We put up a bunch of PCAPs and various little trivia / weird things that we have come across as gray noise researchers. The labs team, Remy, did a great job of putting that stuff together and organizing it. And we walked through a little bit of that process, things that were interesting to us, and also included links to walkthroughs that our competitors did. There were 2 of them linked on there. Tempest, who won first place, she did an amazing walkthrough and also did an amazing in real life open source intelligence gathering situation.
So good, so fun. I love that story. I love that this created that story for her, and now like it's gonna live on for a while.
It's going to be one of my top DEF CON stories of all time, being at CabanaCon at the Flamingo Go Pool, and I get a message that I have a 32 gigabyte flash drive that I need to go fetch from someone, and she, that wonderful. Yeah. So that was a very, it basically, to get first place, you had to deliver some very important PCAPs to us, and she came through. So, yes. The other walkthrough in there is also very good. And if you want to take a look at this stuff yourself, if you're interested in combing through PCAPs, taking a look at multi-stage, or just even if you are a beginner and you want to start looking at some PCAPs to take a look at protocols, see the interesting information in there. I do have those all hosted up on GitHub and have the questions hosted in there as well. Our CTFD instance of this thing will be active, I believe, until the end of the month. So a few more days.
Cool.
Yeah, which September is like Friday, so that's wild.
I know.
Yeah, it is kind of insane. Yeah, and those PCAPs are read, like Kimber said, the GitHub's right there. We posted a link and it's also in the chat. And they're fun. They're fun to go through.
Yeah. My favorite is the printer scanner one.
Yes.
Because that was a challenge where you're pulling out some data and figuring out how to read it. And I had basically, there's about 5 different ways that you can get it to scan, quote unquote scan, without giving too much away. I mean, I know the challenge is over, but
yeah, still no. It's like because people, I think if folks go through it, I think everyone will have a good time. And actually, what I did, and I said this before, I think like 2 shows ago, but I do love the incrementalness that like you can start off small with like the easiest one and still learn a lot if you've never done this before, and then work your way up to the other one. So the design's great. The fact that we're giving the PCAPs away in this format too is awesome. There's a great job on everyone for doing this. You did a great job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I guess moving back into not great territory, although it's great that we caught it or we're catching it. I just want to make folks aware. One of the only interesting things that's been happening in like there's lots of things happening always. Teasing out what's like really important to share is really hard. Like Kimber is really good at it. And this is what I found. I don't think we have a whole lot more to show. Excuse me. But I don't like I don't like it when Citrix. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna lose Bob now.
We're losing Bob.
Bob's dying. I don't like when Citrix activity goes up because I think that means people are trying to find where this is replacing inventory scans, because they're actually doing an exploit, not just poking for Citrix, or attempting to do this. But so if you can compromise one at the same time, awesome. And this is also one that lets you get information out of it too. So this is a pretty significant uptick in the past 30 days. And I just think, and it's mostly malicious. There's only a handful of benign, like benign shouldn't be doing anything here, but there are a couple of benign ones in there. So I think folks need to be careful about this. I want to see if anyone else has anything to say about this.
The standard like disclaimer of you may have patched it once, but double check because things get reverted. Configs get changed, backups get restored. Like it happens, it happens, it happens.
Yep, not great. And give a shout out to the reason why I have the Binary Edge logo on here is Howdy from the team. I believe it's Howdy. If it's not Howdy, someone make sure I get yelled at for that at work, or in like off when I'm off camera. We have, this is one of the many tags which you'll see in a minute that we put out last week. It's a Sonic OS two-factor authentication API endpoint activity. So they're basically looking for those things because there is I think there's a vulnerability in that is what's going on there. Shout out to Binary Edge for getting ahead of the game and doing a mapping of the internet to see where these things are. This is all benign activity, so don't worry about it, at least from that standpoint right now. This is good because they work with their cyber, like they were bought by a cyber insurer, and they work together to proactively identify where these things are so folks can take action before things get bad out there. And the tag was out there, we got the activity, so you can tell that someone's interested in it, and this time it's a good company, not some bad folks. So we'll keep an eye out for any bad folk activity on this one too. And just shout out to the team for cranking 7 tags out last week. 7 tags. It's incredible. That's a tag a day. This is very human intensive work for anyone that has never tried to write a detection before.
These were intense tags, a couple of them too, from what I remember.
This is absolutely crazy town. So proud of them for working through all these things. It was also lots of other stuff going on last week too. Yeah. We're going to talk about some of the ones in a Kev context in a minute. A few of these were actually in Kev. This is just it's really neat that we don't just focus on the malicious stuff too. That's the only thing I wanted to call in here, besides the volume and what the actual ones are, is that we take time to identify just scanning activity, so we can tell you what's happening in that space, because that's usually a precursor to something being bad, or at least you can see like what the folks out there that are doing the attack surface management for folks are looking for as well too. So this is just good activity to have. Bunch of new tags that you can actually monitor. Not seeing a lot of activity on any of them, but that one, that's a good thing to a large degree. And CISA was just brutal, as you heard at the beginning of this last week. It was like so many things last week. They total of 5 CVEs folks had to care about. We have, if I move real quickly, you can see we actually have a tag for that bottom one too. We don't have a tag for the WinRAR code execution, and I will toss it up to the peanut gallery for telling, because people need to know why we do not, and likely for some period of time will not have a tag for this.
So that's if I recall right, like that one's more like it's a local execution.
Yeah, exactly.
Not remote driven. So with our infrastructure and telemetry, we're focused on remotely initiated attacks, and so this
for now.
This one's more, this one's happening on the system. This is where your EDR type and AV and all the things that run as a binary on your system come into play as a control to protect against this, as well as updating or remediating the actual vulnerability. But yeah, not a great one. It's not uncommon though. We see that a lot with compression programs that on all OSs. There's a lot of opportunity in the code to slip something in, to execute something on packing or unpacking. So yeah, not surprising to see it. Although I haven't read the term WinRAR in a while. But,
yeah, I would expect this one to show up in phishing, 100%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And there is a public proof of concept for it now too, if I saw that right this morning. So that means like a ton of people will be able to now utilize this in ways that they are.
Yeah.
So
our friends at Proof Point, I'm sure, will have a fun time with this one.
Yeah. Just don't click on things that you
click.
Just don't click on anything actually, except the Stormwatch link.
Don't use the internet.
And Viz.GrayNoise is great. Those are the only 2 links you should
have. Exactly. Yeah, you don't get anything else. I gotta wonder, is this going to be like the next thing that brings down all the Barracudas? But I guess we'll see that at someday too. And I have confirmation that Howdy is the one that made this. So thank you, Howdy, for that.
Speaking of Barracuda, I don't know. I can't remember if this is in the plan today, but there was an FBI announcement. I don't know, advisory or whatever last week about Look, basically saying the patch is still not effective. Remove them all.
Yeah.
From
Throw them away, put them in dumpsters, buy other equipment.
Yeah.
From somebody else. But that's okay. We're gonna speed run through the rest of this. The CISA has their annual vulnerability disclosure policy platform annual report. They basically do vulnerability management for the government, all agencies, and partly for critical infrastructure too. And I think we've shown CISA lots of love in this before. We do it quite a bit because they do an actual really great job with this. And this report is actually really good reading. It's not nearly as whimsical as the Sophos one, but it's got a lot of really good information and some really good data in it. You can just we won't bother people cranking through the numbers in here. You can grab the report. I just wanted to highlight a couple things. This is like vulnerabilities submitted to them for review from outside sources. The severity breakdown, whether the agency, like, because they haven't onboarded all agencies into this program yet, and the number of valid vulnerabilities in the program that they bring it into. So it isn't just like, hey, this is like the managed stuff we do. This is like how we actually like take in vulnerability reports from third parties out there. And one thing that I just found incredibly cool, because this would never have been a thing, like you'll see government like cyber reports, like they will reference like stupid names of groups that like companies like us name them. We don't name anybody, but like companies like us would name dumb names for groups. And I guess some groups do self-name, but like they also pick dumb names. Like you'll see the dumb cyber names for that in there. But you'll like hacker handles, hackery things, never in the official things before, because government doesn't get us. And government gets us now. I just love the fact that this was prominently highlighted in the report. These two bug bounty hunters provided CISA a lot of through that VDP program, a lot of information, a lot of really good reports, and they didn't use their professional names and they didn't use their professional photos. They dropped it in Hackerville, and I just love that. CISA gets us, and this is if you're a defender, like it's got to be really good news for you, because this means like they understand like what you go through, they understand the things that you're trying to accomplish, and they're basically in the trenches with you with that. So I just found this to be like really, really cool. I don't know about everybody else though.
Also, a shout out to the dads and veterans doing some bug bounty getting. That's pretty cool.
So what? So do you? So that's an interesting. So I hadn't thought about that angle. Do you normally think of the bug bounty game as like, I hate to be the old guy, as a young person's game?
Yeah. Well, it's bug bounty programs have gotten a lot of flack in general for being, people learn on those things and they can be kind of exploitative to people. You got to make sure that you're getting paid for that work that you're doing. And a lot of programs, bug bounty programs now include that as, like ample compensation for their time. So in the past, I think they've been a little bit like profiting off young people who are very enthusiastic and passionate. But now it's like, hey, anybody can do this stuff.
Even us old people, I guess.
Kimber, is it like a hobby that people who are passionate about this doing this on the side?
I think a lot of people, it'll be like a side hustle nowadays. Mm-hmm. Actually, there are a lot of people who do it full time as well. But mostly I was thinking people with kids, it would be hard to do hacking on things, where you have hours of like focus time and also have tiny children or big children.
Like this is true. This is true. So we're definitely over normal time that we do, which leaves me no time to ask Donna something, which I will cede the question for you now, Donna, and just prep you for it instead of surprising you like I normally do.
Should I just hide? I'm gonna hide.
So we need to have you on again, because I want you to talk to folks about why design is important in cybersecurity products. Why actually design, not just like, I don't think people understand the crucial nature of it. So just so can I ask you to come back on at some point and have a discussion about that?
Oh, absolutely. It'll be my pleasure, because it is the utmost importance that we definitely learn directly from our customers, from our users, from our community, because again, that their feedback impacts our product, because we are aware of what their expectations are and we're here to deliver.
Very cool. So thank you for coming today. Glenn, parting words?
No, somehow that question caught me off guard. No, just you know, I already talked about the Silvos report, but it's really good. So take your time, read it, and put that in. You know, if you have some weaknesses that are being identified in that report, prioritize those.
Very cool. Kimber, parting thoughts for everybody.
If you are not expecting a new botnet to emerge from the OpenFire vulnerability from the last week, read Voncheck's report on it. Shout out to the homie Jake Baines.
Oh,
It's
so
one.
are you going to put a bet on that one that you don't ever pay? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to continue my streak of non-paying bets here.
Okay.
And yeah.
Wait, how much do you owe in bets? Or is that too
I
private?
have a $2 bill with Glenn's name on it.
That's what
All
I
right,
heard.
and we leave like we did last time. How many Kev releases this week? And you too, Donna. You're in this too this time because you're on. How many? So Donna, you first. How many Kev releases this week?
Okay. I'm gonna go with 3.
Ooh.
3.
Donna hates
2.
Donna hates the practitioner. We learned.
So Kimber, you just said 2. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I'm dibsing 2.
I was
Glenn?
gonna say 2, but Kimber said 2, so I'll say. Well, I'm gonna say 2. I guess I still can say 2.
I'll share.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 1.
Okay. Wow.
I won't be nearly
know?
as optimistic as I was last week. I won't be nearly as optimistic, but yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for coming today. Thank you again for Donna. I thank everyone for tuning in to Stormwatch.
Tuesdays from now on.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Bye, everyone.